Welcome to a brand new episode of the Real Life Podcast, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts and delivered by DoorDash.
Welcome to Real Life, everyone. What is going on right now?
I think that I'm in love with Matthew Tkachuk.
Are you guys all drunk?
Welcome in episode 381 of the Real Life Podcast. The intro is no longer playing, Chalmers.
Yeah, how could I talk over it if I can't hear it?
That was intentional on my part. Episode 381 brought to you by the HGA Group, here to make your business better. Shout out to the HGA Group. We love them very much. And shout out to Frank Seravalli for joining us on the show today.
I'm alive.
You
What's
are
up, surviving. Surviving the jungle.
This town was like bananas after the game. I was in there in the Hall of Fame room doing the media val. Like people were climbing on the Gretzky statue, going absolutely insane.
I'm torn if I love it or don't like it.
I know. I'm a little bit like
I love the fact you're riding the Stanley Cup into the sky. Like that's kind of cool, but like I don't know.
Also, you're not even halfway there.
I know. There's a lot of.
It's a little early. It's a little early to be
City
getting
of Champions. Act like you've been here before.
on top of the statue, shirtless.
I love the energy. Like I'm so torn. I love to see it. I hope the statue is engineered to handle such a
Brute
use
force.
Yeah.
I think for the
It was actually greased before the game. Did you know that?
so that you couldn't
They
climb it.
greased everything, and yet that's what I wrote in my story. I said the poles and everything were pre-greased, and yet they got on top of that as easily as McDavid
Imagine
and
that was
everyone
your
else
job
picked through the
The
flames.
statue.
They know we're like monkeys after a game. We just like to climb anything that comes in front of us.
like leaving the arena after one, super cool to be like 6 beers deep, walk out after a playoff game and the sun's shining.
Yeah.
Like, that's a neat feeling.
Yeah.
And then just horns fucking honking everywhere, like the whole way. It's wild.
Is it neat or not great? I mean, walking out of a hockey game.
Oh,
where
it's amazing.
You walk
It's
out and
electric.
That's playoff
you're a
hockey.
little
It's
bit
electric.
in your cups, and all of a sudden you feel that sun. I don't know. It's
Oh, it's nice.
like when the lights turn on at the bar at 2 a.m.
They introduced a new size of beers at Rogers Place.
like a mega size.
Bigger.
So the lines at the actual bars are always very long, and all I drink is beer. So I usually just go to the concession line where they sell like popcorn and food because you can get beer there. So I go and I was like, yeah, like draft Canadian. And she goes, do you want it in this cup? It's only $3 more. And it's like this monster cup. And I was like, oh,
It's the Betty Ford size.
yeah.
They're doing a better job at getting beer to you with having all those little pop-up stands
The
or like
yes.
little grab and goes.
But anyways, there is a bigger size of beer now. I
You
found
guys have
people
the
like-
taps where you can go and fill your own.
No.
Oh, like other arenas now in the US, that's like the new thing where like you swipe your card and they just give you a cup and there's like 40 taps on a wall and you just go up and pull yourself one and leave.
Oh, that's
It's all about
unreal.
efficiency. That's the thing. Like the key to building economics is quick peas and quick beer purchases.
Well, they need to figure out the cocktails though, because there's only
Oh,
so
the
many
cocktails.
cocktail stations, and
I know.
I don't drink beer. I'm the opposite of him.
That's where premixed drinks now should kind of maybe
But
try to
there's
take
no
over.
premixed drink in a can.
You won't crush a neutral?
Yeah,
Rivals it. Which
the
one?
High Noon.
Oh, high noons are
Do you
good.
guys have Nooners here?
No, we
have
don't.
them.
No,
Ah.
no.
I see they're becoming very popular though.
Oh,
We don't even have Bud Light hard sodas.
Oh God, those are honestly.
That's all I
man.
drink in the summer. Like we have some awesome vodka iced teas too in a can, like not too sweet. Like
See,
I could drink those all. I could drink 40 of those.
I think maybe the taste.
There is
isn't
Ryan
what I'm-
Coke in a
what
can,
I'm
but they don't
about.
sell it at the game.
I like a big glass of ice. You know me. I need a
Yeah.
big glass of ice. So, what flavors are high nooners? Like are high nooners or whatever they are?
watermelon, pineapple, black
got a
cherry.
bunch.
Yeah, but it's not malt liquor. It's actual vodka,
Yeah.
which
It's
is
like it
Yeah,
says
it's-
that.
yep.
See, that's genius. Like you gotta make sure people know, because I know that the one thing that a lot of people don't like about maybe some of the other ones is that you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You don't know like exactly what liquor it is.
Like in a seltzer, it just says
Just
Like a Bud Light hard
alcoholic
soda, which is the
beverage.
most misleading drink. It's Bud Light, the brand, which
Yeah.
already throws you off,
Mhm.
and then it's their hard soda,
Mhm.
which contains
9
every
pounds of sugar.
every
Yeah.
chemical on the periodic table.
Sugar-free.
It's terrible for you.
So
Sorry.
you said you were at the game. You
Yeah.
had 6 beers. Pretty good for a Sunday night. Even
That's
though
a
it's a
2
holiday,
BPP,
I would have thought
and then
maybe
one
a
was
little, couple
gargantuan.
more.
Yeah.
Couple more. Now, Frank, I know you were at the game too, and a lot of people have been asking you because it's a big, not just a rivalry on the ice, right? There's a rivalry off the
Yeah,
ice.
your tweet got people going.
Your tweet got people going, and I noticed that.
Why is that a thing?
Because that's important to us.
Yes, that is civic pride.
It's
Like
not.
put your wrench on the table and size up. Like that's
That's
what we're
exactly,
talking
yeah.
about.
Small
100%.
man, we are
100%.
small towns. We are small man syndrome,
Yes.
like to the max. And if we can, like I've always
Anything
said, in
to
hockey,
one up Calgary.
If you can win all these little battles, you'll win the war. And the noise level in the arena is one of those small battles that we've wanted to win. And so to hear,
Better fans,
we won.
Well, I wouldn't even say better fans. I would say more passionate fans.
which is better.
Okay.
That's a very
I think-
elegant way to say better.
I think
Thank
part
you.
of the issue with Calgary is, and I've just thought this as a whole, since I've covered the NHL, is it's such a transient market. Like there's a lot of people in Calgary that aren't from Calgary.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there may be other NHL fans that live there. Whereas Edmonton, like
It's deep rooted.
You're
And
from
it's
here.
in the DNA.
You live
Yeah.
here because you're from here.
And
Yeah.
the other thing I would say about it too is in Alberta, it's kind of known as like two different classifications. Like Calgary's more of like the business white collar, where Edmonton's more like the blue collar.
That's why I love it.
working man's. Yeah,
Because I'm
and
from
so-
Philly and that's what we are and we get it.
And when you're the working man, if you can win one on the white collar business class, you take everyone you can get, and that's why it was
Feels
important to us
good.
to be louder and be more boisterous, have a better.
It's also
atmosphere.
nice to just be in an actual NHL arena.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in Calgary,
Yeah.
and it's been a long time since I've been there, but what I remember is if you're up high, the ceiling in the middle of the arena is actually lower than where you
You
are.
can't see across.
It's weird.
It's weird, hey? Like,
Think about the actual saddle dome.
Yeah.
Like it is like that on the outside.
my son
too.
was blown away when I told him that it's called the saddle dome because it's to mirror a horse's
Shaped like a
saddle. And he's
saddle.
like, whoa, that's good. And I'm like,
engineering
oh, man.
marvel in 1983.
Yeah.
Like as a kid,
40
I thought it was cool.
40 years later, it's a dump.
It's a dump.
And it's just no part of it is set for NHL business. Like just going through there, everything's crunched in. Like, even just, press working areas, you see the team areas, like their locker rooms are literally like 40 years old.
Yeah.
The Flames room is like barely bigger than this one. It's insane how small their
Like,
dressing room is in their team space.
And just think from the seating construction, its lower bowl is like 10 rows high.
they did it the exact opposite
and then
of
their
what,
second row,
what
yeah.
today's economics are. They have no suites. And now if you look at Rogers Place, the lower bowl is enormous.
Yes.
Because you can sell more tickets and they're more expensive.
Mhm.
You make the upper bowl as small as you can.
And it's
It's
steep
the
apparently.
opposite.
And
Yeah.
steep as hell to prevent to
Well,
to
you
give
know
you
what?
dementia.
You know what? Steep as hell, and I kind of like how steep it is. The very first time I ever walked in there, I was a little thrown off by just
Oh, you
how
used to it.
steep. It's a little, get a little vertigo. in
The
there or
only
whatever,
thing with
but-
the steepness, and this is as a tall guy, like if I just lean forward like an inch, someone's like, "Can you lean back?"
No, but up there, the very first game that we went to, game 2,
Yeah.
we were in the upper section, about 7th row, and the people in front of us, they leaned forward the whole game, and it did not hamper my view.
Oh,
I was
really?
gonna say,
It was beautiful.
I don't think your arena is steep enough. It actually goes too far out this way.
Oh,
and I think it removes you from play and it actually kills your view.
Well, they didn't
the
make
press
the
box,
lower.
for sure.
They didn't
The
make
press
the
box is
lower
lower.
bowl steep enough, and they should have stacked the boxes like in lows,
Like
like
further out?
out.
Yeah.
And then that's the thing because it's too wide, and that's
You want
why
everyone on top of each other.
Well, and that's what like Rexall had, and that's why like you could just we could pop the lid off of that building. And I know Rogers was going ham, but imagine if it was in like less air to fill. That's why we always get the library moniker because there's so much air to fill in that building.
but it's gotten a lot better. I was at game 1. I was at the 2017 playoff rounds. This has been as loud as it's been.
Oh yeah, no, it's we'll make sure.
There's a feeling. I mean, like going to the game now, like there was obviously a lot of excitement going into this playoffs just because of how well the Oilers were playing and just what the team looked like and all that. But like
how shitty the division was.
how shitty the division was. Last night was really like the peak of how well these guys are playing together. Like I think this is the best I've ever seen this team play. And
Well,
I had someone mention to me after the game, they were like, just so you know, this is the Oilers just getting started. And I
Who
was
said
like,
that?
I can't tell you.
somebody in
So
media said
an
that.
independent observer was like, this is, from around the NHL, not working here, was like the Oilers are just getting started. And
This team can get better is what he's essentially
Well, you saw.
But I was
Connor
like, hold on a second. I feel like I heard this before.
from us.
Yeah.
every
like,
day.
Stop me.
Every day. Yeah. Honestly, they're playing so well, and the lower pieces of the lineup, like that. Yeah, I know. But that Nugent Hopkins line isn't scoring, but they're
effective now.
They're effective and all that. Just think, what if they start scoring? What if they start getting some depth scoring here? You know, like the second and third line, if they start to chip in, if Ryan McLeod and Kyler Yamamoto, who I thought had some really, really good chips together.
McLeod is due.
I know he is, and so is Yamamoto even. If those guys can get the offense going at 5-on-5, this team's going to get more difficult to beat, because like I don't think Connor McDavid's play is just going to fall off a cliff. At
Oh
any
my
point,
God.
right?
It's insane.
It's
like
only getting better.
You might just slow him down one night and he might just get 2 points. And like, that's probably, wishful thinking. So you might need a little bit of depth, but that was, I've said it like 900 times now in the last 12 hours, but that was a convincing win. Like
I saw your tweet. I was going to reply back and say, what happened to cautiously optimistic?
But it
went away.
In that, but like I'm still nervous as shit, and right, but like, and you need to be, but like that game, like I didn't feel like we were gonna lose it. Like
Not at any point.
It did, and that's convinced. Like so, like that was so interesting. That was like Game 7 against LA. Like I know it was tight early on. Like for us not to score in the first period, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like we played so well, but we didn't get one, and now they'll get a bounce their way. But then no, we just
I did
pedaled the
not
middle.
see that coming.
Yeah,
I did not see yesterday.
That was
coming.
insane.
Because I thought the Flames had played so well in Game 1 that they would find a way to reassert themselves in Game 3. And then especially with that first period, as dominant as the Oilers were, Markstrom had kept them in it, and it was like, all right, they need one goal, and it seems like the Oilers will just get super frustrated.
So, full disclosure, I couldn't watch the game last night because I had fatherly
Okay,
duties.
now you can't watch the next game.
No, that's not true.
That also means you're not allowed to go to Game 4.
Oh,
That's not true.
That's a
I am
fallacy.
watching.
Let me know what you're doing with the tickets. Then.
But I guess my questions would be, and this is kind of just going to lead to analyzation of the game, but like, what made us so dominant? Was it our speed? Was it the fact that they just couldn't get anything going? What all of a sudden changed from Game 1 to Game 3?
The Flames, it was out of pure deference to McDavid.
Yeah.
They instead of like attacking you in waves, they actually sat back a bit and took a more layered.
So they're spectating, kind of
approach.
like what we did in Game 1, where we were sitting back on our
But
heels.
that's not their MO. It's the weirdest thing. That's not how Calgary plays. That's not how Darryl
They
Sutter
played our
plays.
game.
That's like the
That's the
name-
thing. We made them change.
That's what happened. Is
Yeah.
is for once the Oilers actually dictated the style and pace of the game. A team that stinks starting got on its toes early and actually forced Calgary to play that way.
See, and I think that's kind of like the trend of this playoffs and other series too. Like teams making teams play out of their comfort zone seems to be like, I don't know what the hell's going on with Florida, but they're not playing the way that they normally played.
They are miles
we
from their
weren't
comfort
playing the way
zone.
we were playing. We usually we should. Our game plan was different against the Kings, and we went down. And I don't know. I don't remember it being like this as much in playoffs before.
Well, they're also standing there watching McDavid. Like they actually
We
are.
got the best seat in the house.
Yeah. we all are, but they are, which is odd.
Some of the shit he's doing,
Oh my God.
is like stuff I've never seen him do. Like the
hard cuts.
the hard cuts and the spin moves in the slot. It's just like,
And how
what
much
the hell?
time he's spending out near the blue line. Like
it gives me this feeling like they always knew they could play like this, but they just were saving it. I don't know.
No, he was learning.
You watch him do
they're definitely not good enough for that.
No, he was learning because
and that's what I'm like, there's not good enough for that. Like, there's no way that they could be like a team like in the NBA or just, kind of load management, kind of just gets themselves to the playoffs.
That's what the
and
Lightning have done, but they're actually good enough to do that.
Yeah. Like when they did it with Kucherov and shit, but
it's like McDavid's just, it's mind blowing what he's doing. But I like what you wrote in your piece on Daily Faceoff. It's almost an accident that this juggernaut line has been put together now. Like it almost shouldn't have happened.
So you guys should send like a case of wine to Mikey Anderson. I know you all hated him before.
Yeah, because he's
You're
a grown man with the name Mikey.
Yeah, F this guy.
get rid of the Y.
Like you're Mike. You're Mike. now.
You're Mike.
I like
Michael.
Mikey. I don't know. I have no issue.
I have no issue.
What are we sending him wine for?
Because if he doesn't injure Leon Draisaitl, that line is not together. 97 and 29 are not on the same line.
No. But like, I know we're seeing them play so good together, but still, would you want wouldn't you want them both driving their own line?
Not with the way that line's playing.
Yeah.
I guess like
Not
I
with-
guess
they're
we can't
literally
argue the results.
blowing their doors off the Flames.
And can we admit he's
55 points those three guys have in 10 games.
Zach Lang tweeted the last time a trio did that in the first 10 games of the playoffs was 1988 with the Edmonton Oilers. And they actually had 8 different combinations of 3 guys.
of course. Lines 1 through 3 had that.
Yeah, but it hasn't been done since 1988. This kind of a run from 3.
Can we admit like Leon's looking better?
Oh yeah.
Like
Every
skating
game
wise,
he's looking a little
like he's
better.
digging in on his edges. I don't know if he got tripped there or if he actually fell because of his ankle. But I
I didn't see it.
Yeah. So
I asked that question the other day where if every day when he plays and then he has a day of rest, whether or not it was 1 step forward, then 1 step back, or if it was 2 steps forward, 2 steps back to recovery. And it would appear that it's more like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It seems like he's getting a little bit better with every rest day.
It's hard to say because that's an injury that like he could take 4 steps forward and 6 steps back. Like that's just how it is. And especially like you worry about re-aggravating it or additional strain and stress on it that I would just take every day off.
Oh, 100%.
Like I wouldn't skate unless it's,
That's why
I don't think he is. Is he doing
No,
it?
he
business
hasn't,
in the next
but-
2 and give him a good rest?
How is it seriously? I've been saying this for now, the Battle of Florida, if they can wrap up and sweep with all the hockey they've played, to get a week off and get Braden Point back.
Yeah.
For the Oilers, if they could then watch St. Louis try and make it a long series with Colorado, we're going to learn. So like I said last game, we would, for game 3, we would learn a lot about game 2. We would learn a lot about the Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
Now for game 4, it's show us what you've learned. Mike Smith unprompted brought it up after the game. He said, we needed to learn a lesson. Losing to the Kings after we were up 2-1. They didn't take care of business.
Yeah.
You guys were in LA. You saw it. Did they go to the beach? What did they do between
Cody
games?
Ceci looked like a tomato.
Looked like a tomato. I had pregame skate. I'm like, oh my God, is he red?
Yeah. And then you're probably saying, oh my God, what? He clearly wasn't preparing for this game.
They were celebrating
This
the
was
series
not a
already.
beach vacation. This was a business trip.
Yeah.
And now you have an opportunity to put a skate to the throat of your arch rival in your building with a chance to go to the conference final for the first time since 2006. Get it done.
Get it done.
Well, but that's like, so, but I think they're now talking the talk like about that. So they're saying the words.
I don't want to hear any
But now
more.
they gotta
I don't
walk
want to
it.
hear any more words.
But they're actually like
Show
saying
some
the right
actual
things.
maturity now.
But they're like, we learned something. We're gonna come. And you saw Connor on the bench there after the hat trick goal, and he's still and you read his lips. He's like, oh, it's coming. Like I don't know what he meant, but like I think I know what he meant, and I think there's this is just the beginning.
We're going to get their best pushback on Tuesday here. I mean,
100%.
You would have to expect that
It's
this team would go, this is not us, and they're going to come out with their best game plan. And so if we can take care of business on Tuesday, then I don't see why we shouldn't be done on Thursday. Get a nice big rest.
Don't even start.
No. I've gone from cautiously nervous. What was it?
Cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic to
Shoot it into my veins.
Confidently optimistic.
Well, so we have created the opportunity to nail down this series.
Yeah.
Like it's business.
Right. Let's see what they've learned.
Get to work. I know Connor's showing up tomorrow.
They just don't. They're not. I've said this all along. This team isn't good enough to give away games.
No.
And Calgary's actually a good team. You give them any room to breathe.
Give them a door to open.
Yeah, you just can't let them breathe.
Give them back home ice.
Yeah.
You just got to win your home games and you're going to the conference finals, which is wild. Just wild. Before we keep going on, that was a luxurious performance by the Edmonton Oilers. Speaking of luxury, shout out to our friends at Alfa Romeo of Edmonton. At our watch parties, I know we talked about this, we are giving away, at the end of this series is when the draw's done. So if you've been to any watch parties, make sure you take a picture of your raffle ticket. 2 nights, Fairmont JPL, and we give you an Alfa Romeo to drive out there in. That's a good prize, Frank.
I like it.
And
But the
other
speeding
prize-
tickets are on you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't speed.
The other prize is a round of golf with me. So which one would you rather have?
Definitely
the car and the hotel room.
I don't know.
I've played golf with you already. A little bit.
18 holes at Cattail Crossing with me sounds pretty good.
By the way, so since I'm obviously new to driving back and forth between Edmonton and Calgary, what is the acceptable speed?
130.
Yes, I was going to say 128.
I put the cruise control on 129 and I was like, I was like, this feels slow.
It is.
It is.
But like, it's acceptable. Wait till you,
Yeah.
oh, you won't be driving. Yeah, you're not driving in peak times. That highway is a nightmare.
I think
times.
if somebody clocked you and saw a 1-2, it doesn't matter what the final number is. You're not getting pulled over. The minute they see a 1-3, I believe
allegedly,
that it depends on which lane you're in, the left or the right. If you
Always drive safe.
Yeah, always mask
Always
your speed
drive
in the
safe.
right lane.
Yeah.
What's the acceptable speed? The posted speed, Frank.
That is the weenie
it's
answer.
too boring
The
to
weenie
drive
answer.
at speed.
It's the answer that our legal department would like me to say.
So what's your travel plans then for the rest of this
Just
series?
driving
Are you back and forth?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Hopefully
Lot of
only one
highway
drive
too.
down.
Yeah. A lot of gasoline alley.
I was going to say, yeah, well, hopefully you have one more drive down and one more. Well, we'd fly out of there, so on.
Yeah, no drive back.
Yeah. No drive back. I would be A-okay with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the unwritten media thing is like whoever goes up 2-1, you root hard for that team. Cause you're like,
Let's get this over
make
with.
it quick.
Let's get this travel over with and done.
I don't care who it is. Just make it quick.
Do media guys drive together? Do any of them carpool sometimes?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I brought Josh Clipperton from the Canadian Press, drove him up from Calgary. And yeah, I mean,
And do you guys
There's
talk
only a
hockey the
handful
whole
of us
time?
from-
Who gets the aux?
no.
Yeah, who is the DJ?
Ox?
I just threw on some, actually, you know what? You guys will enjoy this. The first thing I threw on was a little Brett Kissel.
Oh, wow.
Oh, one in Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah, when in Rome. That's Alberta's boy.
That's
I wonder
Alberta's
if we're
boy.
gonna Brett Kissel anthem at some point.
We did in the first
I know,
series.
he did the American one.
Yeah, I bet you maybe on Tuesday.
Yeah, maybe.
I love the crowd singing the anthem.
We sing both, Frank.
No, I know, but I love when you
just so
just
you know.
put the mic down and you're like, all right, you guys.
I would love to go to an American arena and have them sing the Canadian anthem. You probably could.
Well,
I
remember,
could definitely, but I could. I don't even think we could sing our own.
I believe it was against San Jose that we
have a lack
started
of
that
pride here.
a long time ago, and I remember
in
something.
06?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something-
Lorio started.
and we went back to San Jose, and they sang ours. I somehow I remember this. We can look it up. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been before, but
No,
somehow I remember that.
I don't know if it happened
Because
against
it was a
us.
big deal that we sang the
Oh, it was
American
huge.
anthem.
It was like international news.
I still get tripped up on all of us command. I still say all thy sons. Command.
Half the crowd does too.
Yeah, I gotta say I do too.
Well, it's been, we were brought up with it. It's like,
It's ingrained in us.
It's like,
It's all I've ever heard.
That's why I
Like,
call it Northlands Coliseum, and it's why I call it K-Days, Klondike Days, and they've changed the names of both of those. So,
what does the K mean?
Klondike.
Dry side.
Drysidle's hat. Did you
There's a
hear
thing
that?
from the other day.
I did see that. Okay, so
We know what it is, but
That just
he
shows how loose they're feeling.
okay, so this is going to show my ignorance to some things, but I do not know what it means.
well, we can only speculate, but I'm pretty positive it means cologne.
He's from Cologne, and then in German it's spelled KOLN with the dots.
Okay,
And
and so was Speck asking that question a dumb question? Not that you would call another reporter's question a dumb question, but was it
Unnecessary.
Was it an unnecessary question? Did it?
I would
did
say it was a
deserve that kind of answer?
no. I would say there could have been a better logical deduction to get to that point, so that you didn't have to ask the question.
You could have,
But then when he was like-
you could have said, is the K for cologne? And then just kind of left it at that. As opposed to,
I would have never ever.
well, no, but
I wouldn't have
if you were
asked
going to
that.
ask it, I know
Yeah.
you shouldn't ask the question.
I think this is one of those situations, though, to be totally fair, that we miss not being in locker rooms, because like you're just like as he's walking away, you're just like, hey, what does the K mean on your hat? Like it wouldn't be broadcast. It wouldn't be
Those are the
holding
type-
a microphone.
Those are the type of things too that like he's not going to be sitting there and wanting to give a smart ass answer. You're asking him in the locker room. That's the type of stuff that builds like a rapport between you and players, right? It must be super
Tell
hard.
me more about Cologne. Tell me, what is it, a football team there? Like, what is it? And you just get into some conversation about something.
My assumption in the media game is that you create sources by having relationships with people. And so it's maybe still easy for you to have them with like upper management and agents and other people, but to get new sources as that are players that you think maybe will become front office must be difficult these days. Like is it proving to be a little harder, or do you get those
definitely harder
relationships
with-
through
players. Definitely harder with players.
Yeah.
Just because we haven't been in a locker room since 2020.
You're still not allowed in?
No.
Do you think it's ever going to come?
The only thing we get is two players at a podium in the Hall of Fame room, and you're 25 feet away.
Yeah.
Is it going to like? Do you think it's going to come back for
in
next
the fall?
season?
Apparently, well, that's what we're told, but that's what we've missed. And if you've seen some blow-ups between reporters and media on Zoom or yeah, there's been a couple here, but think about the rest of the league. There's been a few no matter what. It's because you don't have that ability to just, their only crack at you also is for them to make some remark, because he can't just walk by you at the end and be like, hey, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. Well, it's like just texting with like you text with friends and stuff, or you text in a group chat and something gets taken out of context, and it becomes when you just can talk on the phone and just hear the person's voice, look in the person's eyes
on the phone.
The social interaction
context. Yeah. Like it. Yeah. Well, I'm glad it's coming back in the fall for you.
Yeah.
Must be boring not being able to go in there too. Plus you see a little, you probably see body language. You see people, the way maybe other players interact with each other.
I'm a storyteller, so I feel like my work is not nearly as good because I just don't have context to add. I don't have, I would go find, like, I would love to, at some point during this series to write like a detailed Brett Kulak, farm kid coming home story.
His dad was riding the tractor when he found out that he got traded.
It's an awesome story, but like, I'd like to just talk to other teammates about like, how has Brett Kulak fit in? Get some like tale or some story about when he arrived. Like, you can't do that. You can't like, they're not, it's just not possible. So
yeah,
just a small example. Like, hey,
no.
That's the type of storytelling I would like to do, but you're stuck with the two guys that are at the podium giving really generic cliche answers.
When you're probably a perceptive guy, like you probably, when you're maybe interviewing somebody and you might have some thoughts about just two guys and you can just see how they interact just in public, away from the cameras, and it probably can shine a light and confirm something you think.
You shoot the shit. Someone tells you like a little nugget or something, some detail, something you didn't know, and you're using it.
How do you think the NHL's doing right now telling stories? Like for the last year, I've been talking about telling stories. Telling stories gets you invested. Look what F1 has done to F1. Did anybody care about F1 before they started telling the stories of the drivers? No, they didn't.
Jay's gambling on it.
And now Jay's gambling on it and probably stay. Was there a race this weekend?
I watched yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. See, so
Barcelona,
it's working right now. The PGA is getting into it, and the NHL, like obviously they've got the TNT broadcast. They're trying to do more in the States, but like still in this playoffs. How do we think they're doing? Like,
I don't know anything about it.
But you can't, but in the playoffs, they wouldn't let you in anyways.
Yeah, but they're doing that like Stanley Cup Confidential or whatever that thing's called, where they have the behind the scenes and they're putting it on whatever network in the US once a week. It's almost like they want it to be like a Hard Knocks, but it's not anywhere close to it.
Oh, I didn't even know they were doing that.
That's all we're seeing. And like, I don't know. No one else has any access. Why do they get access?
Well, of the two, interstate, interprovincial rivalries right now with the Battle of South Florida, the Battle of Alberta. I mean, one is kind of living up to it, I guess, and the other one's just a fucking bloodbath.
Well, and I like how it's being like the Battle of Alberta, like the shots that they're taking in their media veils is great.
BOA has lived up to the hype.
Like it's awesome.
Rasmus Anderson saying that they're getting beat by one player.
Kachuk did the same thing.
Yeah, the guy who plays half the game.
Oh, yeah. And how dare you talk about Zach Hyman like that?
Yeah, Zach Hyman don't play.
You see Bag Milk's tweet? He quote tweeted the Rasmus Anderson, like, we're getting beat by one guy, and Bag Milk goes, how dare you speak about Jacob Markstrom like that?
That's so good.
I would like to know, and in
Do you
terms
think
of
he's regretting not signing here?
The Oilers aren't regretting how that played out, though. You got Mike Smith.
Maybe it would be different.
Yeah, maybe, but
what are we? Okay, so
Mike Smith for like if you had Markstrom at his cap hit versus Smith at his, you probably can't sign Zach Hyman in the summer.
True, but yeah, you're probably also starting the series at home because you didn't have a crazy swoon to your season.
Yeah, maybe.
But you know what? That's probably also still your coach.
But that needed to happen. All that stuff needed to happen.
We're calling their home ice advantage an advantage in our favor.
No,
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying the swoon in the season.
Okay, I thought you were saying that
all
had
that
to happen,
stuff
like
needed
us starting on the road.
Yeah, no, all that needed to happen
Okay.
to get the Oilers to where they are today. Because like, look at that last 6 weeks they had to the season.
Right.
That's when Mike Smith showed up. That's when the team started playing better 5-on-5.
Evander Kane, best late
Evander
season
Kane,
pickup
Jay
in the
Woodcroft now
NHL
comes
this
in.
season? Question mark.
Oh yeah, that's
I mean, it's
like
so-
with
Can you believe I sat in this very seat and said I would never let this, I would never want this, I would never have
You
that
said
happen?
you would never cheer for him.
I did.
I also did.
I've admitted to being wrong very many times on this. I was simply looking at it from one lens, and it was completely wrong on my part. And I will continue to admit that I was very, very wrong at that because
They still sold their souls a little bit to sign him.
well, you know what?
100%.
And teams do. I mean, you look at a player that gets ousted from his team in the NFL for doing something and goes to another team and he plays great. And then everybody
We're
forgets.
not trying to build a team of good people. We're trying to win.
We're trying to win. And I was looking at it from another
Teams
way.
get
and-
wrapped up in that.
Yeah.
for
And
me,
look
as
at the
long as
Patriots, how many borderline
they
or
love bringing
actual
in
criminals did
they
they
love
have?
make work projects.
Aaron Hernandez, etc. Like, I mean,
But do you know that? Yeah, but they drafted him. Like, did you know what? Like,
they knew that
There
he was a
was-
bad guy then.
there
Oh,
was-
yeah.
oh,
You watched
yeah.
the
From
documentary?
college.
100%.
Oh, from college.
They knew he was a
okay.
terrible guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
God damn it.
There's lots of people that are terrible
Yeah.
guys that get drafted and overlooked.
No
because
one's
of
ever
their-
said anything about Evander Kane's ability to play hockey.
No, and that's the immorality of sports, and it just is what it is. You know, like, I mean, if you want to be moral,
maybe we
don't-
shouldn't be moral or immoral. Maybe it should just be like, let's try and win.
Yeah.
It's working for the Oilers.
It's working right
whether
now.
You like it or not. I
So
guess,
let's
right?
It's worked for a lot of teams though. They've been able to find value in players that are cast off. Like look at the Hurricanes. They've got Tony DeAngelo on their blue line and Max Domi up front. Why was Max Domi free? Because he's perceived as a pain in the ass. Why was Tony DeAngelo available for $1 million? Because he got kicked off the Rangers. Like they've just said, you know what? Come on down. Come to Carolina and we're going to win.
Well, as long as you got good leadership to kind of insulate that stuff, or
They've
those
got a
people,
good coach that's able to.
and they got a good coach, and that player also, decides to make a decision to kind of just focus on hockey and like personal life stuff, just like turn that off.
I wonder what this summer is going to take for Kane. I put out a tweet yesterday when I was just standing on the concourse at Rogers, two guys behind me in very Oilers fan fashion were like, oh, they got to sign him. Or I heard from a buddy that knows his real estate agent that he's looking for a house, Okay, who could we move?
Everyone.
And then they're all
That is such a traditional rumor. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they start getting into the, well, if you can move Cal, no one's taking Cass. I bet you this team would take him for a 3rd round pick. Oh, but if they move Barry too, then you would have enough money for Kane and Pouliot and like classic Oilers stuff. Like Kane just has a hat trick in the second period. It's the second intermission, and these guys are trying to fix the cap situation.
Let's just get through the playoffs.
He's definitely taking the money, right?
Kane?
That's everyone's sense around the league is like, no matter what happened with the Oilers, he's just going to take.
I think he's in a position where he has to, though, right?
Well, let's say it's a 3-year, $5 million offer from the Oilers, and
But he can go get
$6 million offer from the Columbus Blue Jackets.
But he can probably go get 8 somewhere, couldn't he?
No one's giving him 8, I don't think.
40 goal guy.
But he's got baggage still. I know right now in the moment
this I
here
don't
in
think has gotten
Edmonton,
rid
It's
of it.
not. I don't think it's the dollars that everyone's worried about. It's the term.
So if he goes and he should just go and sign 1-year deals. But obviously,
That ain't a way to pay back
no
your
agent
credit.
will
That is
ever.
no good for him. He's
No
going to be looking
agent-
for the longest
No,
term.
I know. Well, but
No one's giving
if
him
you want
more than
max
3
money,
years.
if you want max money, you could go sign a 1-year, $8 million deal somewhere.
I don't.
But his agent will definitely
you
not allow
saying
him to do
is
that.
giving me anxiety. You telling me about what those two guys were saying because it just makes me thinking of listening to sports radio and just wanting to.
He owes
stick
like
something deep in my ears.
$24+ million to his creditor. So
well, maybe if he gets a little bit of that San Jose contract back.
that's
Maybe he
going
can go to Saudi
large for
Arabia
sure.
and play golf.
And any indication on how that's going?
No, they basically are holding off the second part of his hearing until after the Oilers are done their playoff run. But they're also getting antsy at the longer and deeper this goes because they're like, we need to figure this out so that the Sharks know how much money they have to spend in case some of it's coming back on their cap.
Oh, do they get nailed for it on the
They
cap?
might get nailed. That's what this hearing process is for, to decide how much, if any, they should pay him. So he may get some money, and they may also get hit with a cap penalty for if they improperly terminated his deal.
And so that could be a reason why he is on his best behavior right now as well, and will continue to be until that's
I also
solved.
think he's just
Like,
trying to
doesn't
win,
the
right?
NHL
Well, of
have to
course.
give
I
you
mean,
the
but-
blessing to terminate a deal?
They felt that it was on fine or strong legal grounds. Like I don't know what they know, but obviously the NHL, they don't give a blessing, but I think they would basically tell you like, yeah, we think you can win or not, like this case. And with Kane, they had the support of the NHL, I think.
Yeah.
But it was going to get grieved no matter what from the PA, because the second you go terminating deals, like you have that's not a precedent you want to set to allow a team to wiggle out of a contract. So they're pursuing it hard. And it's a really interesting spot for Kane now. Like I don't think he's on his best behavior because of that. I think it's just because he's trying to get back and continue his career.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only thing that kind of drives people crazy. Like you hear, and I get from his perspective, last night they win a big game, a lot to celebrate. And then the question inevitably comes during the press conference about, given your history, given where you were, did you ever think you would be in this spot this season? His career was on the ropes to be contributing with a natural hat trick in a second round playoff game for the Oilers. And part of me admires his confidence, because his answer was, no, I always thought I'd be playing in the NHL. And part of me is just like, why don't you just admit some humility and say like, I was in a really tough spot. Like I wasn't sure where my career was going to go.
And I've learned my lesson.
But do you remember his first
never
press
hear
conference
that.
here in Edmonton? He was smug. Like those answers he was giving. We sat again on this podcast and we're like, that wasn't the first impression we thought it was going to be.
His confidence, though, that's, I don't know. You call it
part
smug.
of his brand.
It's probably it's brand, but it's also probably what makes him a hell of a hockey player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
He's not that guy that's sitting there squeezing his stick, shitting his pants in a playoff game. He's like, I'm going to score.
Oh, he's making plays at high speed in a phone booth.
When you've been as good as he is his whole life and you've been told how good you are, that builds up that confidence. And
but a lot of guys buckle now when you get to the
it's true. You know what was interesting last night in the game? Well, yeah, there's two things I want to talk about this one, but like the Flames weren't like the big bad Flames. No.
They weren't allowed to be, because McDavid and Draisaitl and Kane put them on their heels.
Like even when Lucic, and what I don't think that should have been 5 minutes for charging, but anyways, that's another debate. Does that
made sense though, didn't it? Not to like veer you off course.
I was going to ask
Oilers up 4-0, 11 minutes left.
Oh yeah.
Temperatures are rising.
Oh, 100%.
He hits him and you're like, okay, just get this guy out of here so we can turn down the temperature.
Yeah. I guess, but
that's like classic game management.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would love to have heard what they were saying around the iPad when they were reviewing it, probably being like, God, yeah, that's not that bad, but we're not really going to, because he was already in the room at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we're not going to fish him out of the room and bring him back in this game, right? No, not.
But like, I'm just like, but Luch didn't go ham on like Archibald was able to kind of like contain him. Tyson Barrie had like full control. Is that Trevor Lewis on the ice?
Yeah.
We just like manhandled that situation hilariously. Like it's like we were the captain now.
I was going to ask about this because I didn't see it in real time. I saw the preview, but like, first of all, he's not going that hard. And what
he
Daryl
slowed
Sutter
down
said afterwards is, could you imagine if he did charge him?
If he didn't slow down, that would have been
that quote because
he's right though.
The fact is he would have.
He did slow down.
He would have put Smith into the third row.
Yeah.
Like,
and then to break it down, you see Archibald come in. He's the first one, and he just absolutely does his job in that situation.
And you got to respect Archie for that. Like everyone's been shitting on him, but the guy's fearless. He'll go and hit anyone.
The Oilers had the right guys on the ice in that situation too, which was lucky for them.
Yeah, Cass on the ice too, right?
Yeah, I think everyone.
So that helped simmer it down.
Lucic was on, so it was just a proper line match.
Yeah.
The moment where Smith comes back down the tunnel and they show him on the big screen and the crowd went fucking bananas.
It was like a gladiator re-entering the Coliseum.
That's so good for him because just think about game one, like people have been hard on him, and to have that, For a good reason. I mean,
but you can't be for the last 2 months be upset with how Mike Smith's been.
The best goal in the NHL since March 1st.
And I loved in Jay Woodcroft's presser how he kept referring to the 63 games of Markstrom played, kept using that number, and how
it was partly at Markstrom.
Oh yeah,
but
directly.
It was also a shot, I think, at Speck for his tweet from game 2 after Smith had a rough start again, and he tweeted that Smith is so clearly tired.
Because that's what he's doing, the 28 plus 10, 28 plus 10.
He actually looked, and I might have pointed at Speck as he was answering it.
Because I
know that he was looking at him, and we all laughed because we all knew exactly what he was doing. But he was like, he mentioned Markstrom's numbers, but was like, this guy's in mid-season form.
So he was throwing 2 punches.
Yes.
Yeah, which I love. That's great.
There was definitely some read between the lines.
Oh, that was...
And Speck knew it. He laughed after. He's like, that was good.
How do you think Jay Woodcroft's been? Like, I listened to that press conference and I'm just like, this guy's awesome.
Part of it, like, I'm not giving him like, he's done well, but part of it is like this line being together is also partly, as I mentioned, by accident. Yeah. Mikey Anderson.
But I'm not even saying coaching, just like how he is in his press conferences. I think his demeanor
has been really good. Like, he's been super confident.
Calm.
There's never been a point where you've been like, ooh, I wonder what he's really thinking. Like, Sutter has even like and you expect him to crack some of his guys at some point, but like even in certain moments where it's been put on a tee to like really pump his guys up, he doesn't do it. And I think Jay has been he's been really solid. He's been good. He's worked a long time for this moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's 15 years in and he's ready.
He's clearly got a good attitude. He's clearly a good communicator, and he's just good at like keeping things calm and like keeping things positive to get the best out of guys.
And you mentioned this on Oilers Nation Radio the other day, Frank, but like he's been around most of these guys for so long, like going back to when he would have been an assistant with guys like Connor, Darnell, and Leon. And you brought up the comment he made about Ryan McLeod, right?
He said, I know everything about his game. I was at his first ever professional game. I coached it. It was in Bakersfield, round 2, game 2, whatever. He quoted the game. He's like, I've seen every step of his development since then. That's really valuable. I think that's the underrated part of having him step up. Is he's got the experience with those guys from when he was an assistant. He's got previous experience being on deep playoff runs with the Red Wings, where he's seen it, felt it, seen how coaches react, how they communicate. And then now he's, sort of lived his own journey as an AHL head coach to get to this point where now, other than some of the guys that came in, a Kane that came in late in the season, or a Kulak, or, an Evander Kane, he's known almost everyone here for a while.
So Oilers fans often criticize front office, and maybe we're not giving it the credit because it seems to be built from within. Who in your mind gets most of the credit for Jay Woodcroft's lifespan with, was he with, like you said, Detroit? I don't know anything about
McClellan. That's who gets all the credit, or should.
Yeah.
That was his guy. He had him as a video coach. They were assistants together, or he worked as an assistant under McClellan, then came here with McClellan, worked under him. And then when McClellan got fired, his option was, you can go keep being Todd McClellan's guy and go with him at every stop. And he'd probably be working in LA. Every coach has someone that they bring along with them, or you can go be your own guy.
And who brought in McClellan?
Seravalli, I think.
Well, I guess
we're not giving him any credit.
No, we're not giving him
joking around. I just think it's funny.
Credit to Woodcroft too for in that moment being like, you know what?
I want to be my own guy.
It would have been very easy to living in Bakersfield is nice, but like living in Los Angeles, coaching in the NHL. Yeah, you're an assistant, but like to take the jump of like, no, I'm going to try run my own bench. I'm going to try do this thing myself. Like, I think he deserves some credit for that.
He's got a really non-traditional path. Like, not many guys start as a video coach like that and then make their way up.
Comparison's been made, and he was asked about it. Him and Eric Spoelstra have had that conversation because Spoelstra was the same for the Miami Heat, right? He was their video coach and then worked his way to an NBA head coach.
And you mentioned credit, by the way. Like, Ken Holland had been ripped for a long time, and no one's celebrating too early now. But the moves that he's made have actually really been paying off in this moment.
Kulak,
Keith.
unreal.
Keith. Yeah, Keith. You can't. Kane fell from the sky. No,
But you have to you remember we were just talking about the Edmonton, Calgary, put your nuts on the table.
Yeah.
You're putting your job on the line when you sign Evander Kane.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
That's not easy. I know there were a bunch of teams interested. That is not easy to make that call. Because if he tears apart your team, you might be out the door with him.
The thing is, we were in a situation where you had to do it. You had to take the risk and he did. We created that circumstance where we had to be the team to get him.
We were just talking about Markstrom though. Like, what if he gets Markstrom? How different is this conversation, or isn't it? He ends up sort of sitting on his hands a bit, ends up with Smith. Smith has been fine and at a value price for this team that needed it. And then what about all the moves that he didn't make this year getting a goalie? How long did people bitch in this market about not getting a goalie?
Well, we wanted to throw Skinner.
And so, since we're talking about goalies, I thought this was really weird. And you being in the media, you might have an insight to this. But I see the tweet that says, Mikko Koskinen has announced that he's going to be playing in Europe next year.
Well, it's not. It's rumored.
It's a rumored that it is.
Yeah,
okay. Why is this coming out right now? Where did this come from?
Well, the European seasons are already over or ending. And so this is like their free agency time. So they're aggressively pursuing players. There's supposed to be, there is a transfer agreement that's supposed to be respected where you don't talk to or sign players that are under contract in another league. That if that is the case, and I don't know if it's accurate or not, that's not supposed to happen.
It could just be one of those things where Mikko knows whoever's running things there, and maybe the conversation just kind of happens, right? And it's I know I'm not staying in the NHL next year.
But that's not accurate. He
could stay in the NHL.
He'd easily get a $1.3 million backup deal.
100%.
Really think he could?
Dude, I don't know why everyone shits on Koskinen. It's his contract that sucks.
Yeah.
Yes.
He actually carried this team for a stretch this season.
Yes.
And he played way more than he's ever been asked to.
Yeah. I just think who's in a position where Mikko Koskinen is the answer, like Buffalo or Arizona?
But why wouldn't Edmonton be if you had someone that you didn't have injury concerns with Smith?
Because you're going Smith and Skinner next year.
But I'm saying another team could be in the same spot. Why wouldn't, if you look at the body of work of Koskinen this year, you're not looking at it saying, oh, this was shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All you're saying is this guy can't play 30 out of 35 games.
Yeah. That's what we've always said
in
about
any
him.
team
if he
that's
plays
getting
every
there,
6 or every 4, why would you not be confident in Mikko Koskinen?
St. Louis should get him because they're going to lose one of the two.
That's probably one of the teams that would be I would imagine there's a number of teams like that would be like, hey, we need a cheap. What about Tampa? We need a cheap veteran guy that can play.
Yeah.
I just thought it was very interesting that I saw that in the middle of the second round or starting of the second round.
Everyone talks.
Didn't make any sense.
So it's just there's no respect for anything. Like there are no rules, especially when it comes to tampering. Everyone's already talking about free agents and
that used to be huge rules back in the day. And you'd see NFL signing a player at 12:01. You just came up with this deal 1 minute.
Well, this happens in the NHL all the time.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be till 12 noon. And I know about them 4 days ahead of time.
Okay, before we wrap this up, got to give some love to our friends at Oodle Noodle and DoorDash. Ding dong. Promo code RealLifeDD gets you 25% off and no delivery fees on your first order. Why not pair it up with a little Oodle Noodle?
I'm going to get some tasty nudes delivered.
Damn right you are, Frank.
Via DoorDash, gluten-free.
Gluten-free? Ooh, do the jungle curry.
Yeah?
Yeah. Go for it.
All right.
Is that you have plenty of gluten-free types?
I think we have 2. I should
name anything other than the jungle curry.
Because there's a pad thai.
Maybe he doesn't.
Pad thai, kung pao, and jungle curry can be gluten-free.
Bang, look at that.
With the rice noodles.
It's the sauce that matters.
Yes. So that's why jungle curry sauce.
It's the sauce that matters most in anything.
It's like Cambodian Alfredo.
All right.
It's Cambodian Alfredo.
We
Can
didn't talk anything
Like spicy.
at the beginning of this.
What did you want to talk about?
Well, no, I don't know.
We got to wrap.
We just usually go off topic, but it was so nice to have Frank in here just talk hockey.
But we also just coming off of an amazing game 3.
It was unreal.
Well, no, I know. I just thought it was
What's on your mind, Chalmers? Come on.
I don't know. When do I get to redeem myself at playing you in golf? One shot, one hole.
When are you guys
golfing today?
When are you guys coming to Philly?
Oh, yeah.
Christmas.
I mean, yeah.
I
good
could take
question.
you guys on
when are we?
on an unreal golf tour.
You're no stranger to traveling.
No,
You love to travel.
or we could just meet somewhere.
Well,
Let's go to like Ozarks National.
for anybody,
Well, because of the show Ozark, I really want to go see Lake of the Ozarks. I'm assuming that's
Yeah,
by the lake.
yeah, it is. It's like built right like on like the tops of those like mountains, whatever it is.
Ozark.
for anybody that watched
Season
the
4.
PGA Tour this weekend, Mito Pereira was
Poor
set to
guy.
win it, and he steps up on the 18th tee box and has an all-time
Mental block
and hits his driver poorly. And it reminded me of when me and Frank had a sizable wager on a par 3 for closest to the hole. And I don't usually get nervous, but I really
Dude, I
wanted this
stuck that
one.
thing in there
And
so
there was a
tight.
lot of people
Well,
watching.
you also had Frank heckling you.
I had Frank heckle, but you know what? I could deal with the heckles.
I thought he got you.
Okay. I think it was a mixture of being in my cups and Frank heckling and just how much I wanted it because there was a lot of people around watching.
Yes.
And
It was on video too. I've still never seen the evidence.
And I Mito Pereira'd it, and I haven't. There's not a day
Or
goes
did
by. I haven't thought about it.
Chris Chalmers it?
Okay, Chris Chalmers did. I mean,
The best part is I was just trying to be charitable. I had already won the bet on the previous hole, and I said, "Hey, double or nothing, just to try and get you your money back."
I know.
And then you needle dicked.
I was my own worst enemy.
and missed the green.
I was my own worst enemy. So I want redemption. Plus, we had a good time. I mean, that night we had a good time. And so
Just to be totally clear, not to toot my own horn, but
that was the best shot you've ever
missed
hit.
the green, and instead of being like, "Hey, you know what? Like all I need to do is like get it," I did stick it like 10 feet.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, no, you beat me handily.
If the series ends up going 6 games, you would have another off day that you could spend here in Edmonton, right?
Do we have any details yet on the Nation Golf Tournament?
We are waiting to secure the date. It's going to be, I think we're trying to shoot for August.
Do we know the course?
18th, Cattail.
It is going to be with our friends at Cattail Crossing. Hello. Love them. Had to mix that.
New course. I like that. That's not always the same place.
Yeah, it's good to move around.
It is good to move around.
And Cattail's beautiful.
And Cattail's got like an amazing clubhouse.
That's the big draw there. Is how
Yeah,
nice
I played there in a gold
Where is
golf tournament.
Cattail?
just north of the city.
Yeah,
it's like right by.
It's still in Edmonton.
Yeah, it's still in Edmonton, but it's like right by the garrison, right by the army base.
Okay.
So if our friends at PointsBet were setting odds, what would be the odds that at some point Gregor cries?
Oh, it's
Sure.
minus 10,000.
Yeah, it's
you
like-
would break
You
the
can
book.
set your watch to it.
Oh yeah.
You'd break the book.
$1 would win you like 10 cents.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be worth it. There's no value in
It's like McDavid to get a point on any given night.
Or to get 1.5 in
Minus
the
8. Yeah,
playoffs.
well, now it's like minus 1.
God, there's no juice to chase. But you know what? Shout out to Liam for yesterday on the pregame show, actually looking at his line mate to
Leon.
get over 1.5.
And I hammered
Leon.
it.
Oh,
And I did mention Evander Kane, I believe, in the.
oh yeah, I bet on Kane to
Bet of
score.
the game was Kane to score.
Oh man, I really wish I bet Kane hat trick. That would have been juicy.
Is this the pregame show I wasn't on?
Yeah, because you were coaching your kids
Yeah.
baseball.
Oh,
Tyler said he was going to make it work.
That's one way to put it.
You were like, we need to do it at 2.
I did
like,
not say we need to. I said I could be here at 1, but
You'd have to leave.
I'd
your
have to
son's
leave
face.
the game.
Yeah,
and I'm
exactly.
willing to do it because I wanted to see my boy Frankie.
Well, you got to see him today.
You got to see him today.
I did. There's another pregame show in Edmonton. We'll do that. And what I was getting
What do you mean
at
if there
was-
is? We're going to have one on Tuesday.
No, but he's saying if we like close this
Oh
one
yeah,
up.
you are.
I feel like
yeah.
we need to
Here.
take real life on the road. I've got the spot.
Okay.
Any boys' weekend somewhere, golf trip, and we're do it up.
Dinehurst?
I'm in.
Yeah, maybe.
Jeez.
How far of a flight is that?
What is that?
Oh,
Where
well,
is
to go to Philly is already a pain in the dick.
Yeah, North Carolina. It's I don't know.
Is it not
It's
a convenient flight from here to Philadelphia?
It's not direct.
No.
You got to fly either to Toronto. Well, that's the way we
You
go.
guys could go Calgary to Newark nonstop. I could pick you up in Newark.
Yeah, but then we got to go to Edmonton, Calgary.
Yeah, but
That's easy.
that's a drive.
I mean, it is easy.
What's the drive from Toronto to Philadelphia?
8 hours.
Oh my God, never mind.
Fun content though. Real life
Road
boys.
trip?
Real life road trip.
it through the U.S.
Yeah. Real life does Niagara
You can
Falls.
stop in Buffalo. Yeah.
I love Buffalo.
I am going to Buffalo soon. Huh? All right.
Listen, I'm in for any golf trip. Are you just here for this series, or are you going to travel around
Just
to other
this series, I was going to ask Jay, not on the spot on real life.
Nope, do it right now.
What happens if the Oilers win? What am I doing?
That's a good problem.
You can come stay with me.
We can't get ahead of
No,
ourselves.
I won't.
Yeah.
We got, just like the Oilers, we've got business to take care of in game 4 and game 5.
Yep.
I need to see my
As a
family.
business owner, you've got to look ahead to possibilities.
Can't look ahead.
My family also bought a dog while I wasn't here.
Oh, really?
While I
What
wasn't
kind?
home. So
Is it like a baby?
white one.
yeah, it's a puppy. It's a toy,
Oh, you're missing the
mini
worst part.
toy
Then.
poodle.
You're
and
missing the first
something-
4 nights of yapping everywhere.
some kind of retriever, something.
Hot dog was great when we brought him home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so
said
was
this
ours,
dog
actually.
has not said anything. We still didn't come up with a name yet, by the way. I think we're going to call it Biscuit.
Oh,
Classic,
Name it Connor.
classic dog name.
Biscuit.
Biscuit.
But Biscuit, also a hockey term.
yeah.
Yeah, fair.
The point I keep trying to make, because we were talking about golf, is if this series goes 6 games, there would be another off day where you're coming up to Edmonton.
There
we
are
can
no
take you
off
out.
days.
We could take you out here. Oh,
Not
there's
for
time.
media. Actual media.
Oh, wow. What a rude thing.
But you got to
say.
create the circumstance
media.
where golfing is considered media work.
Well, what is
Yeah,
what
like
is
I'm just saying, because game 6 would be Saturday.
I report to you. So if you can, if that's what you want to determine and you call
We
that
could always
my
carve
day,
it out.
like-
We could always carve
what
it
is
out.
what is
Friday
what is
afternoon, we could go golfing.
what is from the end
9
of this
holes
podcast
in the evening. Oh,
to-
no, we can tee off at 7 and get 18 in
Yeah, I was going to say.
in the morning?
PM.
I'm teeing
Yes.
off at 5 tonight. I'm fully confident.
He's
I'm
like,
getting
tee
18
off
in.
at 7 in the morning, get all 18. He's like, in the morning?
In the morning, like it's like that, like 7 a.m.
Are you guys making fun of me? I love
No,
it.
making fun of Chalmers.
Yeah, no, that's early.
Yeah, well.
I
I'm
like
not
playing early.
I'm a little
You never
stiff
wait.
up until at least 10.
I love a morning
what,
round.
What does
Me
after
too.
this podcast till the beginning of game 4 look like for Frank?
Okay, so I already crushed out 2 shows I wrote late last night.
Yep.
I'll go to the Oilers of Vale at noon, hustling down to Rogers
so
for
we gotta
that.
get going.
And then the Flames are at 1:30. They have practice. Might be doing a little Tim and Friends today on
Nice.
Sportsnet.
Very
at
nice.
4. Then got to sort out and write my story for Tuesday morning. And then Tuesday, do it all over again.
Game day.
It's to somebody who doesn't do it, and I know you probably are, you know, it probably isn't always fun, but that sounds like a lot of fun. Hanging out at the rink, listening to
It
media
used to be
avails.
more. We just talked about why it was more fun. To,
Yeah,
like
no, for sure.
Now it's just you're sitting around staring at the same media people.
I just hope you know you got a lot of young boys' dreams that you're living right now,
Ah,
and that's
thanks.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. So what I always wanted to do.
And girls,
This was it. This is all I ever wanted.
yeah.
All right. Should we wrap this thing up here?
Sure. Well, Frank's got to be
I know he's got to be at the rink.
in 5 minutes,
I know I'm going to have to drive him very quickly.
but you follow the speed
Tyler
limit.
is my Uber.
Yeah, I'm Frank's Uber.
I have a car here, by the way. I just haven't used it.
So when you know you're driving Frank
Use
around,
Tyler.
did you clean the car? Did you make sure it doesn't smell?
I did actually take it for a wash, and my mats had a lot of the winter sand.
Yeah, your
course.
transition.
So I
Yeah.
sprayed the mats and all of that.
Oh, okay. That's
Got
going
a fresh
above and
bag of
beyond.
pumpkin seeds in case
He's a
Frank
big
wanted to
pumpkin
snack.
seed guy.
You are?
He is.
Oh,
You
pumpkin
are.
seeds are
Oh.
like spits?
Yeah, always crushing them. Sunflower seed. We've done this debate. Sunflower
We
seeds,
have.
joke. Pumpkin seeds.
Well,
way better.
no, that's rude.
No, it's not.
Both
What
are
flavor?
both
Do
are
they
good.
come in flavor?
Seasoned.
Yeah. Seasoned is the way to
Oh,
go.
no,
You can
no,
also
no.
get dill pickle.
Wait, do you guys have like buffalo ranch
Chili.
sunflower
Oh,
seeds?
cracked pepper is
Chili,
that
lime, cracked
Dill
pepper.
pickle?
dill pickle? Oh, dill pickle's good. Yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah.
chili heat. There's
I like barbecue too. Barbecue.
Have you tried seasoned flavored spits?
I don't do pumpkin
the goat.
seeds. though.
No, but
No,
but the
spit,
sunflower
sunflower
seeds.
seeds.
Oh no, we don't
Yeah.
have that brand.
Have you tried pumpkin seeds?
get him a bag. Can you get him a bag?
You got to try one.
You're
I'll
on
have
track.
one.
Can you get him a
Pumpkin
bag
seeds
of
are elite.
seasoned sunflower seeds? He's never had them. They don't have them.
What's the seasoned?
That's just their flavor. It's called
It's
seasoned.
like all
but
dressed chips. You, just,
that
you
is
don't know what it
the
is, but it's
first
I
amazing.
did have a bag of all dressed at the game yesterday.
Oh, yeah,
What do you
good.
think it tastes like?
I think it tastes like
Sour cream and
There's some acidity
Chili
to
peppers.
it. There's some
I don't know,
sweetness
yeah.
to it.
So here's what's interesting. This is what I noticed, and I've never noticed it before because I just thought all dressed was like a fancy way of saying like nachos.
Thousand Islands dressing.
But they on the bag they had an image of salt,
okay.
vinegar, and a tomato, and an onion. And I was like, is that what they're actually going for here?
Well, maybe it's like sour cream and onion, dill pickle, salt and pepper, all put into one.
Yeah, I don't know,
The world may never know.
but it's good. I'm an all dress guy.
Yeah, I mean, so am I. The next best chip to all dress
Ketchup.
is the Miss Vicky's sour cream and
Salt and vinegar? Come on.
no, it's the blue one. What's
Yeah,
it called?
sour cream and chili.
Sour cream and chili.
I like ketchup chips.
Yeah, so
That's a
What
very
about-
Canadian thing.
That's a
too.
very
Oh,
Canadian
ketchup
thing.
chips are delicious.
They just
Spicy
get your
dill
hands so
pickle
gross.
is definitely climbing up the ranks for me. I'm always a salt and vinegar guy. That's my homage to the British Isles.
Is that a thing?
We love salt and vinegar over there.
We?
Yep.
My God.
Yeah, that's why they love fish and chips.
Lot to unwrap
I'm half
there.
Scottish. I love HP sauce. I love vinegar on my fries.
Yep. It's like my mom. You know, when she goes to the States and she asks for vinegar for her fries, they asked her if she wanted to clean the windows because that's what they use it for there. They don't put it on
Very good to
anything.
clean the windows
They
and your
just
coffee
use it for
machine
cleaning the windows.
and your water machine.
Yeah, you should always have some vinegar on for cleaning purposes.
Do not mix it with bleach. Wait,
No, wait.
is that the right thing?
What do you know about cleaning?
Me?
Hey, you
It's
don't know
actually,
nothing about
I mean,
cleaning.
if you want to get into what my household chores are, we don't want to do that. But
Yeah,
He's a
Amber
busy
wins
guy.
every
That's why
time.
he can't do all those other media avails.
Amber and I have lived together for 2.5 years now. We just bought a house. I've never cleaned a bathroom once.
You know what?
I take everything else. I'm serious. I do everything else. And the deal is she just has to clean the bathroom because I don't want to do it.
Speaking of Amber,
That's fair.
It reminded
That's
me
a good
of
trade-off.
the watch party at the Pint on White.
Oh, yeah.
Because I saw the video of JR cutting a rug with Amber and your Remchuk.
Yep.
That was a good time.
That was a great time.
Yeah, obviously it's 'cause
Good game.
It's on the weekend.
Yeah.
Good game. Great atmosphere. A lot of people that we ran into Fanny Pack Freddie and his brother.
Oh, yeah.
The guys we golfed with.
I got so drunk. I forgot about that. I love Fanny Pack.
It was
Freddy.
such a good time, man. So if you haven't been yet, come down to a watch party.
Yes.
They are a bunch of like-minded people doing like-minded things.
Stressing out at the
Stressing
same
out.
times, high-fiving at the same time.
High-fiving.
I feel like the high 10 is making a comeback. I've noticed at these parties. Been high 10ing a lot of people.
It's a very
interesting.
80s thing.
Me and you
Yeah.
hugged.
We hugged. Me and Jay got caught in a hug.
Yeah, we were
from
kind
far
of.
away.
Yeah, Waz
It
is
was,
Waz is
more
catching
of a
us. It's
voyeur,
very
yeah.
doing
It was-
catching us. He's on the case.
Yeah.
Caught us dancing. Caught me and Chalmers hugging.
Anyways, the city's alive. Enjoy it.
alive.
Get out and enjoy it. My wife and my two kids on the same night that we went to the Pint on White for the watch party, went to the game. It was our first experience in Rexall for just a watch party, and they absolutely loved it. It was late.
See, I think that's weird.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Have you
I
been
think
in the
it's
building
weird.
for one?
The team's not there. They're 200 miles away.
It's a good for a couple reasons because it gets people that maybe can't afford to go to a game into the building.
No, I get it, but I'd be way more comfortable sitting on my own couch.
Oh,
But for people with young kids, like it's an experience.
Oh,
for
the
them,
kids
right?
love it.
Gets them.
So go to the Pint on White.
but
With your kids?
liquor
Yeah.
license doesn't allow you.
You can't sit at a table with your kids?
No,
I think you're missing this point.
you need a very
No, no, no,
specific
you can have
license
kids.
to allow kids.
Yeah.
And usually it's like so like at somewhere like the brew house where you can have kids, it's like until 8 and then it's
And you know
and
what?
then the puck
Oh,
drops.
you guys are screwed up.
we have very
Little
archaic
bit.
laws here.
Yeah.
Very
Might as
archaic.
well just be in Utah.
Yeah, which they probably have no liquor laws.
We're going to Utah.
They close
shout out
everything
Utah
at 10
boys.
there.
But there's
Shout
just
out to
so
the Utah
many
boys.
things to do right now. The weather's great.
Oh.
The city's alive. Take advantage of it all because you got to take advantage of these moments in life because they are
sports
Sunday,
is designed to break your heart. So enjoy the moments where it's good. You know?
exactly.
Sunday long weekend. Huge Oiler win. Come out, it's still sunny, and this town was just sloppy last
Yeah,
night.
I can't wait to talk to Rick about some pint stories because I know
that'll
the
be
pint would have been melting.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. Shout out to our friends at the HGA Group, Cattail Crossing, Alfa Romeo of Edmonton, DoorDash, Oodle Noodle, and PointsBet Canada. Shout out to Frank Seravalli for coming in studio. And if the series
Keeping it real on real life.
yes, sir, we certainly are. Have a good week, everybody, and we'll be back on Thursday.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Real Life Podcast. Don't want to miss any of our nonsense? Hit the subscribe button and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram.